Tonight we are going to do a past, present, future spread based on the full moon, okay? What energies the full moon wants to bring out regarding past, present, and future energies, okay? All right. So I'm going to be using my Clarity Tarot, and then I'm also going to be using one of my new favorite decks, which is the Urban Crow Oracles, okay? I did just do another reading just now. That reading was based on a couple of different flower pictures that I had, and it was whatever comes out. If you haven't, go watch that one. It was kind of interesting. The second reading, I delved in on the energies that was coming out. That one was pretty interesting. So go watch that one. See if that resonates. And I didn't quite feel like Spirit was done. And so that's why I'm back, okay? So based on this full moon that's coming out in Capricorn, which is bringing up old energies, okay? Not only bringing them up, but it's clearing them out and moving them out of the way so that new energies can come in, so that new things can be restored and regenerated. This could be things that have been a long time coming. This could be things that we have refused to release. It could be things that we didn't even know was still there, right? But we're going to look in and see past, present, and future energies. So as you come in, if you're watching the replay, if you would be so kind to make sure as you're watching to hit the like button, okay? You can comment if it resonates. You can also share. But if you're new and you haven't yet, make sure you hit the subscribe button and make sure that you hit the bell as well. The bell will allow you to be notified whenever I go live or whenever I post new content, okay? All right, so let's get this road on the show. So this is based on this full moon in Capricorn, past, present, and future. Past, present, and future, Spirit, please and thank you. As you come in, please hit the like button. Thank you. Appreciate you. We're doing a spread based on this full moon in Capricorn, looking at the past, present, and future. Past, present, and future. Hello, Matt 702. How you doing? Past, present, and future. All right, and we're going to also take a look at any challenges currently that we're experiencing. Hi, Francisco. Hello, Michael, Alexander, Jacob, and Jackson, Logan. Hi. So right now I'm doing a spread based on the current full moon in Capricorn, and we're taking a look at past, present, and future energies based on this full moon. We're also going to look at some challenges and the outcome of these energies, okay? If you guys would be so kind, hit that like button for me, please. Thank you. Thank you, Francisco. Can you play the song Kayum by Brandon Lake? It's about Jesus. I never heard of Brandon Lake. I can sing for you though. Jesus, sweet Jesus, how I trust him, how I prove him. All and all I can sing. All right. Anyway, back to our reading, y'all. So, thank you guys for hitting the share and the like button. I appreciate that so very much. Thank you, Commonwealth Ram Ranch. I never heard of that. I never even heard of who that person is. I do read future, Michael. So if you go look at one of my past videos, in the description, there's a link that leads to my calendar. And so if you want to schedule and get a future-based reading, I would love to do that. Hit me up, okay? Thank you. All right, so in the past, taking a look in the past, letting you guys know, first of all, my name is Letty. Thank you for stopping in. As you stop by, make sure you hit the thumbs up for me, please. Thank you. I appreciate it. And so tonight, I'm just taking a look into the energies around this full moon in Capricorn. We're going to look at the past, present, future, any challenges around this energy, and the outcome. Okay? And so let's get started. All right. So if you guys would like a personal reading, I do personals. All you have to do is go to my calendar and schedule, okay? So if you look at one of the videos that I posted already and go into the description box, there's a calendar link there. You click on that link and schedule a time, and we can get a reading for you. If you like it live, we can do it live. If you want a pre-recorded reading where I can send it to you and you can watch it whenever you're ready, we can do that too, okay? Thank you for asking. I appreciate that. So in the past, we have play. And I feel like play is talking about possibly being in the energy or dealing with situations that were very relaxed. Play talks about being in the energy. As you can look at these birds, they're playing in the rain, right? Probably don't have a care in the world, right? Of course, we know they don't have bills to pay or mouths to feed. Everything is given to them. But it's just the energy, right? It's very playful. It's very relaxed. It's just like, okay, I'm not worried about yesterday or tomorrow. I'm just here right now enjoying this. And so in the past, as we're talking about past energy, this could have definitely been the energy that's very much relevant here. Just this very nonchalant, serious energy. You could have even been surrounded by people that shared that energy. It almost feels like a very young, very innocent energy. I'm just remembering back to times when I didn't realize the responsibility of being grown, right? That's something that's always very funny for me, because that's the first thing that we say as young people, right? It's, I can't wait to get grown so I can move out and do all this stuff, and we have not the slightest idea what's waiting, right? We don't understand the weight of being grown and adulting. And so it's almost like that kind of energy, just being young and taking, each moment at a time. When we're young, we don't understand, the heaviness of having to pay bills and make sure that everybody is fed and clean and there's lights and there's gas and, everybody's safe. Like, we don't understand that because we're under the shelter of it, not over it or responsible for it. And so it's a different perspective. Welcome in, everybody. Please hit the like button for me. Thank you. And so it almost feels like that kind of energy for me in the past. But let's see. So why is this energy coming out for the past, Spirit? Why is this energy coming out in the past? So this could have something to do with like work. I did have the Page of Pentacles come out, and that's a young energy, and it's almost like starting something new, possibly even studying. Like this could be being in school, being amongst your peers at school, and not having anything to worry about but study. And then the Five of Pentacles came out as well. And so in the past, if this was the energy of someone who will say did have responsibilities, someone who was grown and who was expected to be adulting, but they were actually standing in this kind of energy, like the result could have possibly been the Five of Pentacles, which lands you in a position of being a little bit worried, or having a change of situation financially where you have to cut things down or say goodbye to certain things. Like in the past, it's almost like that kind of energy. Things weren't being taken seriously like they were supposed to, and because of that, there were certain repercussions that happened. That's the energy I'm feeling. And so there might have been a period of time where things were definitely tight and hard. There's definitely lessons, I believe, to learn in that. But that's the energy I'm getting in the past, is that there was possibly some lessons learned around understanding the reality of responsibility. Yeah. And I guess this could, be used for any situation. It doesn't really just have to be about money. We can place this in a situation with love as well, where, we would talk about being in a connection with someone that doesn't really see the value or the understanding of trust, or not feeling like you have to reciprocate energy, right? Just simple little things like that. Not really understanding what it means to be in a connection, and how what it is that you're supposed to be giving back should reflect what you're receiving, right? Like things like that. And so let's see, currently we have the energy of observation currently. And so right now we're in that energy. And observation talks about being able to see things, right? And it may in fact be connected. I feel like it's connected to seeing from a more wise position, seeing from a greater vantage level, right? As we look at this card, the crow is actually watching from the sidelines on the rock, intrigued, right, on how to find a way to catch this spider as a meal. It could possibly just go right down and just pluck it out of the web, but instead it decides to, observe it a little bit, learn a little bit about it first. So the energy of observing actually asks us to kind of step back and take a look. Take a look at all the playing pieces on the board and see how they're reacting. See how they're deciding to strategize and move, seeing when they move, and seeing the reasons behind what it is that they're choosing to do. And so this It's pointing to that energy of being in a position that is beneficial to you, when you don't just rush in and assume things, or you don't just rush in and um, get involved with things right away, but you kind of step back and look, and you don't get involved too quickly. You just kind of step back and take a look. You listen more than talking, and you listen to understand instead of listening to respond and giving your spiel on what's happening. So for someone, there's a little bit of a maturity, I feel like, going from this very playful, young, very unconcerned, nonchalant energy to now we are actually not really in a playful energy, but more in a learning position. And we're looking for understanding, right? We're looking for wisdom now. And so our perspective have changed a little bit. And so let's see what this is. Yeah, Seven of Swords and the Four of Swords. Now, swords are mental energy. Hi, love. Does Julian really love me and want just me? Yeah, you would have to schedule an appointment with me, Tammy. Welcome in. Thank you for that question. I would love to answer that question. If you go to one of my previous videos and hit my description, there's a link there where you can schedule with me, okay? Thank you, love. I look forward to hearing from you. And so this observation here is the energy currently being embraced right now. It almost feels like even the hermit energy for me, like seeking wisdom. And the Seven of Swords and the Four of Swords are both sword energy. Sword energy it's mental energy. It's understanding. It's being sharp witted. It's thinking. It's strategizing, right? Um, and so now we've moved from playful energy, and now we're trying to get understanding. We're trying to seek strategy, right? We're trying to be effective. It's almost like seeking wisdom. Wisdom is being able to live life strategically, effectively, right? That's the energy. Even with the Four of Swords, it's almost like the energy of realizing the power in sitting back and waiting, not being in a rush, right? Not overextending, feeling like you have to do a certain thing or do everything. It's realizing your power now. Like there's levels to this, It's that kind of energy. So as we move forward into the future, now that we understand that life is not just about fun and games, and I feel like these are possible lessons that this full moon in Capricorn is really bringing in for us, for whoever's resonating with this. This is the energy that's coming in. There's that realization that's happening through this evolution of growth. Okay. Hey, Derek. Make sure you hit the like button. Thank you. And so the future energy is gifts. Okay. So let's see. Let's clarify gifts for us, Spirit. I'm liking this. Future energy is gifts. All right, we have the Eight of Cups. It's almost like the evolution of growth, right? From a child, now we are entering into, and not that this has to be a child, it just feels childlike and not really understanding what's needed. But now we've come to the point in the present where there's a level of understanding now. Now we have the attention, where we can actually give of ourselves and get understanding with what's going on. and possibly better do this thing so that we don't stay in this Five of Pentacles energy. And now we're moving from that energy of understanding and observation and trying to get wisdom. Now we're moving into gifts. So let's see. Gifts. All right. And so gifts is talking about the energy of the Eight of Cups. Okay. And the Hierophant. Now this is very interesting. Very interesting. So let's get some understanding about gifts. Okay. Because it's not just about having, right? But we want to have an understanding with what we have so that we can utilize it correctly and not take it lightly, right? And so gifts is talking about, first of all, I'm noticing like all these little scattered things around this bird. He has one of them in his beak, but there's like an assortment of things just kind of scattered around. And so I feel like this is like the energy of this crow that's expressing like a form of thankfulness, right? For us, it looks like garbage and just stuff that we may not want, like stuff just scattered around. But for this bird, it's a gift. These are gifts. And I feel like he's expressing a level of gratitude, like, and there's some appreciation. And almost like there's like a connection, with the human part of himself. And he almost feels like these are things that were specifically dropped off for him, right? He's taken it personally, like these were given specifically to him. And as we notice, there are all kinds of things. We have a quarter here. We have a safety pin and a feather. It might be one of his feathers laying there. Gifts of all different shapes and sizes. There's a key. There's like a bouquet of flowers, some type of crystal or stone. The bird has a button in his mouth or her mouth. And so that's telling me that it could be an assortment of things. Gifts come in not as gifts, but they come in as whatever is needed by the receiver. So for someone, a gift could very well be being able to breathe deeper than you were a week ago, right? For someone that never had a breathing problem, it probably wouldn't be a significant gift, but it's to the person that needed it. For someone else, a gift could come in as a form of whatever they needed. Like having someone give you $100 is a gift. But for someone who has money up the yin yang, right? Someone who has 2 or 3 bank accounts and all of them are overflowing with money, giving them $100 is like throwing pennies at them, right? They're not going to take that as a gift. And so it's understanding, for us, this looks like garbage. But for the person receiving it, for this bird, right, it's a gift. Because for him, it's almost like a level of connection. And it may, in fact, even be making him feel a little human too, right? To be able to associate with human things and to have a plethora of them sitting here. He almost feels like it was left there on purpose for him to play with, right? Like as a gesture. And so it's bringing and highlighting the understanding that gifts come in the form that they are needed, right? And it's personal for each of us. It's personal. Could you tell me something about my nephew? And so um, now, when we look at, now that we understand the intention that the writer gave for this oracle card around gifts, right? Remember, they're coming in under the guise of what's needed for the receiver, or what would be significant for the receiver, right? And it's going to be different. A gift that I would love and would be useful for me may not mean anything to the next person. So it's personal. It's understanding that. And the universe knows that. God knows that inside and out. And so it's a reminder to simply just be thankful, right? No matter how small, it's big to the person who's receiving it. And so be thankful. And if we have that attitude, the universe will continue to give. God will continue to give. And so future is what we're looking at. And so this may in fact point to something coming, right? That is a gift or something that's going to be coming towards you. I feel like that, is going to be given to you. Source is going to be giving some type of gift coming towards you, but it's going to be personal for you. It's going to be something that you're going to appreciate, and you're being reminded to make sure that you do just that. Now, this gift was clarified by the Hierophant and the Eight of Cups. And so the Eight of Cups is the energy of expansion. It's moving from where you are into someplace greater that allows you to expand and grow and ascend and excel. However many words we can think of that describes this energy of getting bigger, of growing, of swelling with wisdom and experience and expectation and the understanding of our value. It's all of that. The Eight of Cups. Leaving behind what no longer serves. Yeah, it worked for a minute, but it can't contain me anymore. I have to move to something greater, right? And that could be, it could be in, a place where you're staying, that now you need something bigger. Maybe you have your own business now. Now you need a place that's going to allow you to have your own business office. One of the rooms needs to be a business office. Or it could be moving from a certain group of people that used to, inspire you. They used to provide that perfect level of challenge for you and keep you growing. Well, now you're the smartest person in the group. So now you need a whole new set of, people that will challenge you and not keep you small, right? Not saying that you have to leave people, but I'm just saying sometimes if you're the smartest person in the room, you may need to upscale, to be challenged, to keep growing, right? Or it could be your job, right? It used to be fulfilling and challenging and kept you on your toes, but now you do things with your eyes closed and it doesn't provide any level of fulfillment anymore. No challenge. So now you're looking for something or waiting for something more, right? That's the energy of the Eight of Cups. It's expansion, it's growth, it's moving up to a higher level. And I tend to feel like this could be something spiritual because we have the Hierophant here. This gift coming in could be something spiritual. It's definitely something that is going to expand you. It's something that's going to cause you to ascend to a greater experience in life as we look towards the future. But it's related to something spiritual. And it isn't always something, the greatest gifts aren't always like physical things. Some of the greatest gifts are things like healing or Being able to see things from a greater perspective, not just one, that cause you to expand spiritually, emotionally, even physically. I want to know if I could help my homegirl. Hi, how are you doing tonight? Are you another carrot card reader? Can you guys hit the like button when you come in? Thank you. How are you doing tonight? Me, Bianca, 3284. I would like to know if I'm in the right path because I don't understand. People said one thing but act so different, and maybe you could pull out a card. I want to know if I could help my homegirl out. She's telling me that people are talking to her in her head, saying bad things, but want to get it removed. Please. Thank you so much. You're the best. She said it's like bad spirits and weird voices. Okay. So I do personal readings, you guys. You would have to go to my description box. So you go to one of my old videos and click on my description. In there is a calendar. Click on that calendar, schedule a time with me. I would love to go into detail with those things with you. Okay? Schedule with me. Okay? And so the Hierophant, I feel like talks about moving away from traditional thinking, right? Sometimes tradition keeps us boxed in and unable to grow. Sometimes tradition does that. And I'm not disputing tradition because there's a lot of good things about tradition. Tradition keeps us grounded. It keeps us balanced. It keeps us, in a place where we understand things and we know who we are. But then there's always a time to ascend out of that too. As the world evolves, so do we, right? So do we. And so change is inevitable at some point in time. And it doesn't mean that we have to drop. The Hierophant carries a lot of spiritual energy, which says values, it says morality. Just because we change, it doesn't mean that we have to become immoral or we have to drop what we value. We can bring those things with us and still evolve and change, right? And change with the world as the world is changing. Otherwise, we run the risk of becoming ineffective and irrelevant in our attempts to step in and cause change or to help, right? I hope that makes sense. She just wants to know a little something. Love, that's all. She said it's bad like spirits. Schedule with me, okay? Thank you. Make sure you guys hit the like button when you come in. And so these gifts that are coming towards you, I feel like it's going to be that level of ascension, of opening up. It's going to be something personal for you. I don't necessarily feel like it's physical. Like it's not going to be a car. It's not going to be a house. It might, I'm not going to say it's not. If spirit, that's what spirit has for you, then that's going to be above and beyond what this is. This is something spiritual. This is something that has to do with you being a leader even. The Hierophant is a leader. This is someone who holds the keys to a kingdom. This energy stands between heaven and earth and stands as like a conduit delivering messages, to help connect people to their source. And so this is not houses and cars. It's not diamond rings and, bubble gum. It's something much more. It's something that will continue to live on even when we ascend into a different state. This is something that will be passed forward. It's something that's beyond us, is what I can say. And so whatever that is, it's a gift coming in the future, the energy coming in the future, okay? It's pretty big. Now, the challenge with that is insight, okay? And so insight talks about This is almost like, for me, the Seven of Swords, which brings in, we just brought out the Seven of Swords too. This is strategy. This is, and it's also temperance as well, which is major arcana, because temperance is fixated on finding a solution. Temperance is trying to find the correct prescription, right? To come out with what it is that is desired, right? Kind of like this bird is trying to figure this out. In this picture, this bird is dropping rocks into a bottle of water. You can see all the rocks that's been dropped so far. Now, what's happening here? Every time he drops a rock, or she, the water rises a little bit more, right? And every time the water rises, whatever this is, this could be like a piece of food or whatever it is, it rises with the water. And so you see the strategy being implemented here. There's a level of insight, and this is almost like the energy that the temperance carries too. In the card, the major arcana, the temperance is holding 2 cups. And in those cups is a liquid that's being poured back and forth. And so that's significant because there is almost like an experimentation happening as temperance is trying to find the correct method, the correct recipe, the correct prescription, right? To come out with the perfect whatever is needed in that moment. Temperance is known to be able to take one thing and actually turn it into something else through experimenting, through experiences, right? And so that's like this energy. This comes in as a challenge, but we're going to see why this is a challenge. But it's the willingness. I don't think this bird is in a rush, because if he was, he would have gone off and just, found a worm or something. The bird is very intent on getting what it is that's in this jar, getting what he wants, and he's willing to strategize. And it's taking time, it's taking effort, it's taking experimenting. He's having to go get the rock and come back, right? There's a lot going on here. There's a willingness here. There is resilience here, right? As he comes back each and every time. He could go off and get something else, but he comes back with another rock each time. But this comes in as a challenge. Let's see why. Why is the insight? Why is that the challenge during this full moon, Spirit? Which I already knew what it was, but I just wanted the cards to show it. We have the Seven of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands, because we want to rush through it. We don't want to get in the kitchen and clean the meat and, fry the meat and clean the vegetables and shell the peas and, boil the water and then cook we don't want to do all that. We want to drive up into the drive-through and just say, I want, yada, yada, yada. Give it to me. I give you my money. We want fast food. We don't want to have to prepare. We don't want to have to plant, right? The Seven of Pentacles talks about planting. She planted all of those pentacles. Now, there will come a day that she'll be able to pick them, but there's a process that's happening here. And this process takes time. It takes effort. It takes work. What does she have in her hand? A shovel. That means she's working. She's being patient. She's watching what it is that she's growing, right? This is work. The same work that this bird is putting in, with the expectation that if he put enough rocks in there, that whatever that is going to rise up to the top so he can just snap it right off of the top of the water and eat it. But we don't want to do that. This comes in as a challenge. We want the quick way. We want the Knight of Wands The Knight is fast moving energy. It says go, go, go. Wands is also fast moving energy. Wands is the fastest suit in the deck, and the Knight is the fastest suit in the deck as well, right? Because we don't want to work for it. We don't want to strategize for it. We don't want to troubleshoot. We don't want to experiment, right? We don't want to do none of that. We just want the fast food. And I'm using that as just an example, right? We don't want to work for it. That's the issue right now. During this full moon that's coming up, it's that we're wanting fast food. Like, we don't want to put in the time or the effort to actually cultivate anything. And that's coming in as the challenge here. But it's part of the learning process. But where we are right now, this is the issue. This is the challenge. And so let me find out what is suggested. So what is the suggestion here? I guess it's kind of obvious, right? Temperance. So that's what comes out. We just got to talking about temperance, right? Be willing to do the work. Remember I was talking about the cups? In this one, it shows her with jugs, right? In the original Rider-Waite deck, it's 2 cups that Temperance has pouring in and out of. This one shows 2 jugs, but it's the same concept. This is the alchemizing happening, the work being put in. Imagine a scientist, that makes a breakthrough. But how long did they have to work to get that breakthrough? It could have been years. And matter of fact, it could have been something that was being worked on before that scientist was even born. They may, in fact, have picked up where someone else left off, right? We understand how science works. It's that kind of energy. This is work. And so that's the challenge coming in for us. Now, the outcome being discovered is interesting too, because the outcome is dominance. Now, from the looks of this card, it almost seems a little bit not scary, but it feels forced, especially with the word dominance, right? So this card is talking about hierarchy, right? There's one that is actually, above the other, probably in a higher ranking than the other one, that's causing him to bow down. So here we're looking at a power struggle. This is coming out in the outcome, a power struggle. And it could be over food. That's what that is, right? This bird comes in to try to get the food, and this one, which is at a higher ranking, says, what are you doing? You know that comes to me. I'm at a higher ranking than you. I call rank, right? And so it's almost like a power trip happening here. But why is this in the outcome? After all this learning we've done, why is this in the outcome? I almost feel like this could also be just needing to understand. Like, you don't just wake up on the top. Like, everybody has to start somewhere. When we think of the corporate ladder, we're looking at that hierarchy, right? You don't just start as the CEO many times. Many times you start off like at the bottom and you kind of work your way up the ladder. Again, we're talking about being willing to do the work and work your way up. Let's see. Why is dominance here in the outcome? King of Cups versus the Page of Cups. Isn't that something? So we have the King of Cups, which is the young energy, the inexperienced energy, just getting started. And then we have the wise, accomplished, experienced energy. Yeah, so there is a process. Spirit is saying there's a process that must be engaged here. And so that's in the outcome. So for whoever this is resonating for, I feel like Spirit is just letting you know, like, it'll definitely be worth it, but be prepared to earn it. Right? I don't know who that's for. This was a message for somebody, right? It started off with this very shallow, not understanding like the responsibility, right? It's almost like a lesson that's being taught here to someone about life. It's like a life lesson. And when it's all said and done, I feel like the promise is there, but there's also the working up to that. Like, you don't just wake up as this mature energy. You know, it's a process. And I feel like we walk through that here in this reading. And so let's see what else. That was a good reading. I like that. Very informative. I'm going to see if there's any other messages before I end it. And I'm going to pull from my abundance deck. So for whoever this was for, Spirit, any other messages you have for them, please and thank you. During this new moon, I feel like this is the lesson. Now, the full moon in Capricorn, as you guys will look, I just did a whole slew of messages for the full moon in Capricorn. I went through each of the zodiac signs. This new moon, or this full moon, not new moon, the full moon in Capricorn is really about regeneration and renewal. And it's about almost like the energy of spring cleaning. Like if there is anything that needs to be swept out and cleaned out, it's also about coming back to get what was left the last time the cleaning was done, right? It's going into those little crevices, getting into the closets and getting that stuff out of there, stuff that we don't see, right? So it's easy to just let it sit and gather. But this moon comes back to pull out those energies that and those things possibly that we have even refused to release. But those are the very things that have caused us to be limited in so many ways too. And so this is a message for someone, okay? It may not resonate for everybody, but I definitely feel it was so specific and it really, it made sense. And so I know this is for somebody. Now, if it does not resonate with you, don't try to make it fit. It doesn't have to. And you want a personal reading, you can have that. I can definitely do a personal reading if you'd like. Just go down into my description box if you're rewatching this video, the replay, and click on my calendar and just schedule a time with me, okay? And we can get together and hook up a personal reading for you. All right, so let's end this off on a good note. So what are some pieces of advice for my viewer that was resonating with this reading? Please and thank you, Spirit. And if you are enjoying this reading, please take a moment to hit that thumbs up button for me. Thank you. I appreciate you. By hitting that button, it reciprocates the energy, but it also, you know, allows the message to get out. There could be someone that needs to hear this. It would be helpful to allow the channel to grow as well. So many different ways that hitting the like button helps out, okay? Commenting helps out as well. And if you are new here and you're enjoying this reading, consider subscribing. Okay, if you choose to subscribe, make sure you hit the bell so that you'll be notified if I do schedule, or if I do go live again, or if I post new content as well. Okay. All right, let's get one more. Okay. See if we can end this on a positive note. So whoever this reading has been for, I feel like Spirit has definitely been delving in on the purpose of getting understanding, getting wisdom, right? It almost feels like life lessons is what the moon is bringing in for whoever is resonating with this. There has definitely been some lessons that have been learned, some the hard way, right? We've all had to learn them. Sometimes the hard way. But I feel like those lessons are being received, and there's the reception to those lessons as we can see the progression of this message. And there are some areas that we're still working on. And that was mentioned in the message. And then in the outcome, it's understanding that. The outcome was very interesting because it was like the summation of everything that we discussed in the message. So it actually laid out really beautifully. Now, for the ending cards, we have delusion, individuality, and detachment. Now, I feel like the message, the ending message here is wanting you to understand the importance of action, right? And that was in the challenge here. The challenge was about insight, and that insight was around the motivation to do, the motivation to be willing, the motivation to understand the requirement, right? And be open to do the work necessary to get what it is that you want. Now, part of that energy that Spirit is talking about is understanding the difference between wanting something and going to get what you want, right? We could sit all day long on the couch and say, "Oh, I want, you know, to work at this particular place. I think I would like the people, and they pay really good and they have good benefits. I want to work there one day." But if you stay on the couch, and I'm just using this as an example, and you never go to apply, you never go to research the company, you never go to find out what positions they're hiring for, chances are you're not going to ever work there. You're just making wishful thoughts, right? And so this is the energy of delusion that Spirit is warning against, right? Don't allow yourself to settle in that energy of just wanting something, right? And not surrendering to it. Surrender means to take action. Faith without works is what? It's dead, right? Intention without surrender is a fast path to delusion. It's a fast path to delusion. And so Spirit is guarding against that. And then it's also understanding with individuality here that everyone has their own path to walk, to travel, to embrace, right? Yours is not going to look like others. And that's a good thing, right? That means that you are okay to completely be your 100% authentic self, no matter how quirky that sounds to you, because you're looking around at everybody else and they're not you, so you feel like you're quirky. You're not quirky. That's authenticity. That's you being you. When everyone else is looking around outside of themselves, guess what? They feel quirky too, because nobody is you. And so Spirit is asking you to embrace your individuality, embrace your authenticity, embrace your path. It's different than everybody else's. We have been said to be in this thing called an earth school, meaning we are learning, and there are things that are on our life path for us to learn. And it's different than everybody else's. Our what do they call that? Syllabus or no schedules are yearly in the beginning of the school year when the kids arrive at high school early so that they can get their class schedule right. What we've been assigned to learn, the lessons are different than everybody else. It looks different. It is different. And so that's something that we all have to come to grips with and accept. And we have to be okay with it. And really, in reality, it's a good thing because that means that you are freed from having to be stuck in this thing called society or the matrix, right? Where we're, doomed to this, this monotonous, my tongue is getting tied. We're doomed to this monotonous activity for the rest of our lives. It's not supposed to be like that, right? There's a level of freedom that we should have to pursue whatever is brewing in our hearts. And so, but it's also understanding that you are free to do that. Many of us have to overcome, fear of stepping out into our individuality because society has taught us that we should all be alike, that we shouldn't take pleasure in seeing our individuality. We're supposed to move in troves, right? When everybody go that way, you're supposed to go that way too. Then when they switch to this way, no, you have your own path, okay? And then lastly, detachment. And this is not having to be stuck again and having things happen or turn out a certain way, right? Being able to detach is one of the most beautiful things, right? Because it says, I'm okay. If it happens, I'm okay. And if it doesn't, listen, I'm okay. I'm going to be all right, right? It would be nice if it would, right? I have asked, I've dreamt of one day experiencing that, but at the end of the day, if it does not happen, I am perfectly okay. The art of detachment, because if it doesn't happen, that means chances are there's something better for you, right? Because we underestimate the power of spirit, the power of the universe, the power of our creator to know us, right? The one who wove us together in our mother's wombs most definitely knows us better than we know ourselves. We're still learning about ourselves. And the creator is looking down at us at every inch of our being, knowing us intimately, right? And so being able to release your idea of how things should play out should be pretty easy when you trust that the one who is in control has it all worked out, and many times has something much greater for you than you could even realize or what you've even planned for yourself. The art of detachment, right? That makes life so much simpler. Okay? So that's my message. That is Spirit's message around this new moon. I feel like it's definitely, that was for somebody because that was really specific. I don't feel like it's going to resonate with everybody, but I know it was for somebody. And so thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you for all the love, the comments. If it didn't resonate and you're wanting a personal reading, I'm willing to do that. Just hit me up. Go to one of my other videos that I posted. Go down into my description box and schedule with me. And I will get a personal reading together for you as well. Okay, thank you all for stopping by. I appreciate you all so very much. It has been LettiSpeaks, and it's always nice to be able to come in and talk with you guys in real time. Thank you for all the love, the requests, like you guys are wanting, questions answered. I appreciate that. I appreciate the interaction. Because I'm doing a live reading, I wasn't able to answer questions, but if you want to go down to my description box and schedule, I'm more than happy to answer those questions in detail. Okay. And so until next time, thank you all so very much. I appreciate you. I love y'all. All right. Get ready for this full moon in Capricorn and all that is unfolding. It's good stuff. Okay. Till next time, it's been Letty Speaks. Bye.